Hello wonderful people, so nice to see you on my channel. Welcome, welcome. My name is Alexandra and I'm about to make a reading for Leo. All kinds of Leos. Definitely if you are a Leo sun sign and rising sign, but also I would recommend always to check your natal chart and where do the personal planets lie in your natal chart, because they tend to influence you more when they are clustered, especially. So not only Sun and Ascendant sign, but also your Venus sign, Mars sign, Mercury sign, and of course Moon sign. So that there can be 6 different signs, but it occurs rather rarely. Usually we have 2 or 3 stronger points in the horoscope, so I recommend to see them. So this is for Leo for the whole year 2019, and you can see the cards are already on the table because I was doing this reading in my native language first, so I already know what's going on. It's not an easy reading, but it's a courageous one. It seems like a courageous year for you. To me, the year when you can encounter your deepest fears and deepest sorrows and perhaps clean them once and for all. The main card, the central card, indicating your general energy this year, Ten of Swords. Tens are always about the end. You cannot stick any more swords here. So this is the end of the cycle. It could be painful. One, when we see at the cards preceding Ten of Swords, we see Nine of Swords, which is great anxiety and stress. We see Eight of Swords, which is being trapped in a prison of the mind. Seven of Swords, which can be about treason and not facing challenges. So you can see this person probably dead or dying, but I like that the face of this person is headed towards this beautiful sunrise on the horizon. So the night is about to end in this card. And of course, it's about the dark night of the soul. And that we should always remember that the night is the darkest just before dawn. And it's also the coldest. This energy is even strengthened here by this beautiful major arcana of the moon. So that's the major arcana for you. In this reading I pick one major arcana card from the 22, and you have the moon, which is very much about night and being lost in the night and not being sure where you are and not being able to recognize what you really see, what is reality and what is a dream. It can be about awakening from some kind of illusion, because this card is very much connected with things we think we see, but they are not real, right? So it may be the end of this way of perceiving the world, which might have been erroneous, mistaken, right? Swords are about thoughts, so thoughts we may produce in our thoughts we may produce the picture of the world that doesn't really have anything in common with reality. By thoughts we create reality. So this is the way of thinking that doesn't really work for you. It's counterproductive, it's destructive, it may be very toxic. It's ending now. but perhaps you need the final blow. That's what I feel in this reading. I took another card for the Ten of Swords because I didn't want to see it alone. And it's no better, you know. Five of Pentacles. Again, one of the most difficult cards, one of the most difficult energies in the tarot. It's about being desolated, left out in the cold, and not really able to ask for help. Because the help is here. It's in your sight. It's at the hand's reach. You can enter this beautiful, warm and warm place that is full of light, but you prefer not to. You choose to go away. You choose the lack of something. And that's why I was saying about the final blow that I see here, that you need to really feel it. It's always for your greatest good. This reading is, of course, also done with this intention in the mind of your greatest good. So anything that happens here needs to happen. It really needs to happen. Four main energies rather. We have 7 of discs, 3 of discs. This is from the Mercury tarot. So working on something that may seem to be very unconcluded. There's an act of creation here, creation of something very palpable and real. But you may feel that whatever you do, you're still not there. You're still waiting for your results. So there is this feeling of being exhausted by waiting and being lost in it. Another card for you is 7 of Cups. And it's very much about many choices that you have to encounter, and perhaps you need to choose one, but you're not feeling really able to do this. Perhaps you see things as yours, but they are not yours really. Perhaps when you see something within your reach, you think it's already there, but it's not. You still don't have it in your hands. So this is this feeling of waiting here. 7 of discs, 7 of cups. 7 is a very angelic number, and it's also about work and spiritual change. So I have this feeling that this definitely leads to your spiritual growth, but this time it's through a rather difficult experience. The final card you have here is the High Priestess, and it corresponds beautifully with the moon. The moon requires intuition, and she's all about intuition. I love the depiction of High Priestess here. You can see she has these tentacles. So it's all about being very fragile and sensitive. It's like when it's dark, you can close your eyes because you don't see anything anyway. And you can just sharpen other senses and really pull out your tentacles far and reach far away from you and feel the way rather than see it. I also feel this is very, look at her hands. She has this long twig-like fingers reaching deep into the waters. So there is something very deep here in the moon card too. Deep in the mud, lurking beneath the surface that you need to touch. And it may be difficult because it's dark, maybe filthy, maybe rotten. It may be something very unpleasant, deep down in the darkness. But again, you may only perceive it as so. It doesn't have to be like slime or something like that. It doesn't have to be like this. But you may have created this kind of vision around you. But now it's time to really face with this vision, face the truth about this vision. Was it the truth? Perhaps not, right? With the Ten of Swords, it means the end of some kind of illusion. But you need to trust mostly in yourself. Mostly in yourself. And trust is a difficult issue this year. I will tell you why in a minute. So, demanding energy, right? In the area of the lesson, something that is inevitable. You have Four of Cups. This card generally is about being closed off. Arms are crossed, legs are crossed. You don't let the energy in. It's about stagnation, being disappointed in life, being bored by something, not really taking chances, being very focused on what you already have. And I feel this may be a very conscious decision not to take up any new things in this reality you have, because you may be tired and exhausted and you don't need anything more. You may decide not to enter new things and really focus on what's there to be finished, especially that the additional card to this one is the Judgment, and it's about final what's the word? Final judgment. Facing up finally with the past in all its totality. So there's great understanding here of causes and results. There also comes, with understanding, there comes forgiveness. Not forgetting, but forgiveness, in order to enter the new life. But this is a purging energy. It's purgatory. It's like going through fire, really. And perhaps that's why you don't want anything more, because you're at your fumes right now. You don't have any more fuel. These are the ending parts of some cycle. So perhaps it's good to focus on what you already have and finish it. Really extinguish something. So you see, it's a very demanding energy, but also you need to be brave to go through this. And I feel that you have this fire, you have this bravery within you. Look at the card of Angels and Ancestors Oracle that came up for you. It's a stag. Trust and thrive. Come alive and thrive. Stand in your light and glory with grace and majesty. The extended message is like that. You have an opportunity to thrive. Trust in all that you have to offer, all your gifts, strength and power, and make the most of it. You were born to lead, and this only becomes reality when you are willing to put yourself in that position. Stag energy allows you to feel safe, because the antlers keep away anything that could interfere with your intelligence and presence, and their strength gives you the power to be agile in your thinking. You are being encouraged to retain the dignity and be proud of who you are and all that you've accomplished. This in turn will give you even more power to thrive, onwards and upwards. So, you have the support of this beautiful animal energy here, full of pride and grace and bravery. You're gonna need it. That's definitely here in this reading. Then, in the area of challenge, look what we have. We have the Star. Not a very lucky position for this beautiful card, because it seems to me that you will have difficulties with retaining hope or maintaining hope. You might have difficulties with believing that whatever is happening is going to end. That's the first thing. It's going to end in a good way for you. That's the second thing. It may be very challenging to believe that you are on the right path and that you are needed in this world. This card, when it appears as a general energy, talks about being at your place and being humble among the world, feeling part of it and being in sync with it, giving all your gifts to the world and making it a better place, a more complex place, both in material and spiritual world. But you doubt this. I think you doubt this year. And perhaps you doubt that you'll ever be happy again. Just happy with yourself. But again, I have this feeling that you need to doubt this. And maybe that's not such a stupid thought, that there may not be a happy end to life. And just be with this thought. Think about it for a while. Try to get accustomed to it. Check out, how do you feel with it? And perhaps it's groundbreaking. But perhaps it's groundbreaking in a very positive way. That doesn't have to be a happy end. And perhaps it doesn't have to be the end at all. Maybe it's ever unfolding. In a way, it is unfolding. I pulled for this challenge, what's the medicine for the challenge? I asked. And I have slow but steady. It's a card from Shamanic Healing Oracle. I love this deck. It's very wise. And let me read it for you. Slow but steady. Don't rush the situation. More often than not, divine timing and our timing are not the same. When you try to speed up a life experience, a relationship, or even a project, you circumvent necessary experiences or lessons along the way that will contribute to a perfect outcome. Know that wherever you are in this situation is the perfect place for you to be. If this place is causing you anxiety, perfect! Now, you can look within and ask yourself, why? What are your fears surrounding this perceived delay in getting to where you want to go? What is the worst that can happen? What is the best that can happen? What if we removed the words best and worst and just let things unfold at their own pace without attaching judgment? So it's about leaving judgment behind here. Then, in the area of what's your strength, we have Lovers. So it can be about love. It can be about about feeling love towards something or someone or the whole world. But usually, this card tells about important decisions and being dual about something. So if it appears as your strength, it means that you will have no problems with duality of the world. Perhaps you will trespass this perceived peak, dividing this card into two parts and create one entity out of two perceived opposites. That's my feeling here. That you will have no problem with making right decisions because you will see through perceived duality. And I think these decisions you have to make are connected with ending of something, ending of cycle. You have the world here. So these decisions that you need to make, they may be tough, but you're gonna make them because you feel you want to end something, that they are necessary to end something that doesn't work for you anymore. That makes perfect sense to me. And finally, we have the card showing you what to focus on, what's coming. Knight of Wands, and there's your fire, finally, because I didn't see fire in this reading at all. There was no single fire card until then. So I think you're going to wake up from this bad dream. You're going to be yourself again in the future. Just follow your instincts, follow your fire, follow the warmth, follow what brings you immediate positivity, something that pulls you towards. Follow it. Change. Don't be afraid to change. Don't be afraid to move. The additional card, Sun. That's where you're heading. You're heading towards the sun. And it's always through the night. It's always through the moon. The moon is number 18. This is number 19 of the major arcana. So you need to go through the night to enter the day. That's your goal. And it's here. All right. Now, as the seasons of the year are concerned, as far as the seasons of the year are concerned, we have Six of Pentacles in winter. Six of Pentacles is a very positive card. It usually speaks about the balance between giving and taking, but also about being in the present and really making most of it. So, if this year is about difficulties, you may have difficulties with the balance. You may also realize that there is this imbalance in giving and taking, or inability to use the present in the way you want to use it. That's where the card is upside down, right? But I always think about all the meanings. And because your reading is quite difficult, I think you may realize that there is some kind of imbalance on this very material level in your life, that perhaps your way of thinking or your way of behaving results in a leak of energy, leakage of energy. Something drains you or someone, and you realize that it needs to stop. Perhaps you don't act immediately, because in spring, this is the second quarter of the year, so April, May and June. We have Two of Swords. You can see the motive of Night coming up again here. She's sitting here blindfolded, playing with swords, not really sure which one to choose, which one to cut with. Swords represent thoughts, so these can be two opposing ideas. And you may realize that they are really opposing, and that you cannot hold them both. And that's when, perhaps, it's good to make a decision. When you realize it. And you will. So, I think the first half of the year is the realization of the problem. And then you're implementing the solution. Princess of Pentacles. What a beautiful energy. Look at her. She's definitely pregnant with an idea, and she's about to give birth to it. And it's gonna be very palpable. It's not an idea anymore. It's flesh and bone. So after the realization comes implementation of it. And this is the time when you do it. So July, August and September, time when you give birth, time when you plant the idea in the earth. This is pure earth energy, so you're very down to the earth. Perhaps it's now when you make those decisions come true in a very sturdy, stark form. But what it brings you is, for once, happiness. Beautiful card. I always see it as temporary shelter. So something is accomplished, definitely, and it brings you much joy and the feeling of stability and safety. And you know you're going to need to move on. You know it's not forever, but it may be a very happy time for you. So October, November, December, I think there's release here after some very hard work you have done before. Now it's time to regain your strength, to rebuild your health, to make yourself feel comfortable again. Great energy for you. And finally, as far as emotional life is concerned, 3 cards for relationships. We have Knight of Stars, which is the same as Knight of Wands. We have the Moon, which is the same as Moon. And we have the Lovers, which is the same as Lovers here. So generally, these energies I was talking about are definitely going to touch your emotional life and your relationships. If you are in a long-term relationship or a short-term relationship with one person, this may indicate that you don't feel safe in this. I think the Moon, as you can see, it's some kind of illusion. It may be very beautiful, but it's illusion, and you realize it. Perhaps this is the illusion about this person, Knight of Stars, which is adventurer. It may be also an illusion about yourself. Perhaps your self-image may change very much. You may realize that you're not the person you thought you are, or your partner isn't the person you thought they are. This adventurer, this person can be a wonderful lover, right? But they are not very stable. They are not for long. They seek for adventure. So, if you are the same, you may create a great couple. But if you want to settle, that's not the best option for you. And you may realize it after some time. And you may realize that there are important decisions to be made as far as your union, your relationship is concerned, just to cut this illusion of the Moon, to set yourself free of some darkness here. For some of you, I think, when I look at these cards now, it may be a very exciting time. Because sometimes when we enter the union, the relationship I see here, with great love and shivers and all the beautiful things, we may see this as great adventure. Something is unfolding here with this person. Something wonderful is unfolding between the two of you. And maybe like the starry night, when we want to see illusions. We want to see the whole world in a very different light. I feel this is for some of you a magical year in your relationships, especially the important ones. It may not last long, but I don't think it's a bad thing. Sometimes things that are short are the most beautiful. Depending what you want, right? I think there are periods of life when we encounter something like this magical, romantic full moon night as something absolutely gorgeous. And there are times when you don't want it anymore, when you need something more stable. So it really depends on who's listening. So for some of us it's going to be exciting. For some of us it's going to be over the top and not really productive anymore. And then you can make a decision if you are matured enough to do it, and I think you are. I think you are. So always remember with those general readings, take what resonates, leave the rest. It won't work out for all of you. Perhaps it's only for one person. It can be like that. Always remember to check your other signs, as I said at the beginning. If you need personal reading, please email me. You can see my email here, and it's also in the description box. I'm here to read tarot for you. I love doing this. Overall, I wish you a wonderful year. I feel it's gonna be a very wonderful year for you. So, happy 2019. Have a wonderful time. If you are going to party. If not, just use this magical time. I think these final days of the year are very special. Perhaps to sum up and start with a new fire. All the best for you. See you in next readings. Bye.